Hey guys, what's up? Chemistry here. Today I'll be showing you how to work with samples some more in my Tricks and Tips tutorial series. In the previous tutorials I showed you how to change the tempo of a sample but without changing the pitch. So working with vocals and just general sampling. But in this tutorial I'll be showing you the opposite actually, which is how to change the pitch of a sample, pitching the sample, but without changing, its quality and its tempo. Now I'm gonna use a hardstyle kick for this first example, and oh god, what's going on here? No. All right. So the hardstyle kick I chose is the Power Mind Headhunter's kick. And now, there's a lot of kicks like this. If you have a library full of, hardstyle samples and just stuff like that, and it usually has a pretty decent bass release, and it's hard to work that in with your song because obviously there's only one pitch and it's the one you hear, but sometimes you want to change that pitch, and that's what this tutorial is all about. So I moved up the tempo to 146 beats per minute, and I'm gonna fill in each 4 steps for this kick. Now I'm gonna send that to the piano roll. Just right click and send it to the piano roll, and it'll just demonstrate exactly what we saw, but just piano roll mode. And I want you guys to just ignore the fact that it's on C5. C5 is just a home note, and it just means that it's just playing the sample the way it's meant to be played, just like if you went in the channel settings and hit it that way. So even though it's on C5 on the piano roll here, it doesn't mean the pitch of the sample is C5. It could be, potentially, but chances are it's not. So what we want to do is figure that out. That's the first thing. Now I got just this simple saw, and what we want to do is try to figure out or try to match the pitch. We'll start off on C5 just to get it out of the way. I guess I'll just turn that down a little bit. That sounds kind of minor, and that can already be a sign if you're experienced, but obviously that's not octave or anything like that. It sounds kind of wrong, so I'm gonna put that down to semitone. That's wrong. Now you can tell that A was dead on. Sometimes it's harder to tell, but it's pretty easy to tell here that A was the correct note or the right pitch, and my phone's going off right now. Alright, so now that we got that figured out, what we can do is rename that channel and just put A, which means that the pitch of that channel is A. Now what we want to do is clone that to the amount of channels or amount of harmonies you want to have. Let's say you want to make a bass line for this kick. What you want to do is clone it to the amount of extra notes you want. I'm just going to have this 4 harmonic kind of progression each measure, but the way you use this bass line is up to you. So I know it all says A2 and A3, but we'll just ignore that for now. Just go into the piano roll and keep filling that in the same way. God, my mouse. Stop it. It is. I'm gonna have to turn it off, turn it back on, guys. 1 second. Alright, here we go. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to fill in each channel so that it's all just kind of one line, and it all has its own individual section, but they never hit at the same time. I'm choosing to do this each measure, like I said, and having 4 harmonic notes. Obviously I'll change that. I don't know how I would, but maybe I will later. So obviously the first measure starts off on the A, and then the second measure is called A2, and it's right here, and then next note, and then the next one. So they're never hitting at the same time, but they're all filling up on the same C5. And that's because we're going to be changing the pitch through the channel settings and not through the piano roll. Alright, so now I know what the bass line is going to be. It's going to be G below A, then F below G, and the C that's like C5. So the upper C. Now that's a common like A minor bass line. So they're all on C on the piano roll, but we're going to be changing its pitch to G and F and C, as you guys will see in a minute. Now, what you want to do is well, you don't have to do this for A because it's just the way you want it, but on everything else, you want to go into the channel settings just by hitting on the channel, and you want to just basically turn all these lights off. Turn on normalize, and what you choose for resample may differ on how it actually sounds when you're doing this. I tried this earlier and I usually hit monophonic, but I find that Pro Default sounded a little better because obviously we're messing around with it, with the waveform and the talk, you know, like the punch of the kick as well. So you don't want to change it that much, and you know what I mean. You want the quality to be similar. Now you can just mess around with which one you pick from here, but for this tutorial I'm gonna hit Pro Default, even though I usually hit Pro or monophonic. So Pro Default, and you just want to keep doing that for each channel. I know this would have been easier if I would have just cloned it, but anyway, so you want to just take off all these lights and turn off normalize, or turn on normalize, and then Pro Default, and you can change them depending on how they sound, like I said. Alright, so here comes the actual pitching part. So here we have the pitch knob, and if you look up on the top left here, when I move the pitch knob, you'll see that it says cents, and that's just kind of measuring like 100 cents is one semitone. It's kind of like a metric type of scale. So 100 cents equals to one semitone. If you don't know what a semitone is, it's just like from C5 to C sharp, or to C sharp to D, or D to D sharp. So it's like the very, very next key, not skipping it. Like, you can't skip black notes, you have to go through them. And like from C to D, that's 2 semitones, which is like one tone. So what you want to do, since 100 cents equals to one semitone, and this is what I believe, from going to A to G, you have to go down from negative 200 cents, as you can see up there. So negative 200 cents, and the reason why I know that is because when I look on the keyboard, A is here, and then there's 2 notes, A flat and then G. And you count it the same way you would on like Monopoly or some sort of board game. You just go 1, 2, and then you just add 2 zeros. And if you're going down, it's negative. If you're going up, it's positive. So negative 200 cents, and that'll bring you down to G. So on F, our F channel here, from A, because that's A, to F is 400 cents. And I know that because, like I said, I just look on the piano roll, 1, 2, 3, 4, F, and 400 cents, we're going down, negative 400 cents. And then C, that's A, but we want to go up to C, that's 200 cents up, so positive 200 cents. So the way I know that is 1, or actually no, it's 3, sorry. You want to go from A to A sharp, 1, 2, 3, 3, that's C. And so then we go up to positive 300 cents. Alright, so I guess we'll just have to see what that all sounds like together. Now obviously sometimes it won't sound so amazing. Quality does change. Like I said, the talk does change, and a good way to kind of cover that up is to have another punch. So let's say I have a few claps in there. Okay, so I'll just have 2 claps going at once, fill in each 4 steps, and then I'll hit this button so it keeps on looping. And that'll cover up the kind of talk difference, or the punch difference in each harmony. Now, of course, you don't have to use claps. You can use anything else you want to cover it up, like any other punch or anything like that. And this is without mixing. A good thing to do after this is to go through each channel, link them to the mixer, and try to equalize them so the talk sounds similar. I don't know if you guys really want to watch this, but if I try doing from A to G here, actually no, from A to F, because that is a big difference for going from A to F, which is relatively far. We'll just keep A the way it is, so we won't really EQ it, but F, maybe what we could do is, I'll just make it so F comes next here. So F is there, and then I can just cut that off and then cut off the clap. So just going from A to F. So what you probably do, since the punch is usually around the midsection here from 3 to 5, and maybe 6, is sometimes what you want to do is boost that up a little bit, and sometimes you want to boost up the bass section because sometimes you lose a little bit of bass when you go down to lower or bass strength, like around 150 to 300 hertz. So now obviously it's always going to sound different, like there's not much you can do. This is a pretty big pitch change, but you can definitely make it sound as similar as possible so that when everything's playing it together it won't sound so horrible. You can do this with bass lines, just like you know, you got synths on VC3 and that's on F sharp. It tells you. Okay, that's a long synth, and it says it's on C, and that's a good way to get yourself started, and you can do that the exact same way. And what's good about that is it doesn't have a talk, it doesn't have a punch like a kick does, so that it won't sound quite as obvious that you know, pitched it using the sampling method I just showed you. Now remember, you can always change the resample to tonal, transient, pro-transient, monophonic, even speech if you want to. And just find something for each channel that is suitable for your pitch change. And this is just one common bass line, you know, A, G, F, C. And I went through measure to measure to measure, but you want to adjust that to your song or to your project. So this is a tricks and tips tutorial. I went through it not as fast as I could have. I'm sorry about that, but I hope you guys all understand this concept. If you have any further questions, let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Good luck.